Welcome to the JP8 Report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 Report, episode 436. Good morning, everyone. I know yesterday was a very long day for our country. Yeah, a very long day. If you didn't know, if you've been hiding under a rock or whatever, I've been a detox for news. Senator Lindsey passed away Saturday night at age 71. We'll get to that and more on JP8 Report. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Let me get my stuff set here. All right. So, welcome to the JP8 Report. And before I get started, I just want to say one thing, and I'm going to mark this off the list. Fox News, please stop bringing these stupid, good-for-nothing, insurrectionist DSA people on your network, because they're stupid. They have no idea what they're doing, and I classify them as insurrectionists because they want to do away with the Constitution and the Congress and the presidency. Just leave them alone. Let them fizzle out and die. Or not physically, politically die. All right? That's, oh my goodness, man. Griff Jenkins, he had the distinct punishment of interviewing one of them this morning, and she was pathetic. But okay, so let's get on. Welcome to the JPA Report. As we get started, please, if you're watching and you're not a follower, click the bell beside where it says the JP8 Report. Click the bell and scroll down where it says follow and click the follow button to follow the podcast. All right? And then give me a thumbs up for a like for the episode, please. Okay? And then chat. You're free to welcome to chat with me. It's a good way to, you can distract me sometimes from what I've gotten written down, which I usually have a lot written down. Got a whole page today. All right. But yeah, you can chat with me. I'll stop. I'll interact with you and stuff. I'm not one of these professional podcasters that don't know what they're talking about. I broadcast from free Podcastistan. All right. And then let's just do this. Okay. All right. So, JPA Report, America 250. The Second Continental Congress received its first draft of the Articles of Confederation. That was the preceding document to the U.S. Constitution. That was to carry us on through the Revolutionary War. Okay. General Washington reported that there was 150 ships that were approaching New York City. Many of them had already bypassed their batteries that they had implanted on the Hudson River. And then with that, he wrote a letter to John Hancock, okay, which I'm going to read. It's a one-pager, okay? The design of this is to inform Congress that at about after 3 o'clock this evening, two of the enemy's ships of war, one of 40 and the other of 20 guns with 3 tenders weighed, anchored in the bay opposite of Staten Island and availing themselves of a brisk and favorable breeze with a flowing tide run past the batteries up the North River without receiving any certain damage that I could perceive, notwithstanding a heavy and incessant cannonade that kept up from our several batteries here, as well as from the Ploss Hook. They, on their part, return and continue to fire as they run by. A dispatch and express to Brigadier General Mifflin at our encampment towards the upper end of the island, but have not heard whether they have gotten by or received any damage. The account transmitted by this morning by post respecting the arrival of one of the fleet's fleet seems by the arrival of one of the fleet seems to be confirmed. Several ships have come in a day, among them one this evening with the St. George's flag at her fore topmast head, which we conclude to be Admiral Howe from the circumstance of the flag and general statutes and the several and general salutes that were paid. It is probable that they will arrive in a day or two and immediately begin their operations, as it will be extremely necessary at the flying camp should it will be provided with powder and ball, that it may be impracticable to send supplies from hence to account for our hurried engagements, besides the communications may be hereunto. I must beg the attention of Congress to this matter and request that they forward with all possible expedition a quantity of musket powder and lead if balls of different sizes cannot be had, as will be sufficient for militia to compose the camp. By an express this minute arrived from General Mifflin. The ships have passed his works. I am in haste with sentiments of your regard, sir, your most humble, obedient servant, General Washington. This is the call to arms from the general asking for support and ammunition. As he said, the Battle of New York is beginning, and he just got word from General Mifflin that they passed the works on Staten Island and are proceeding up the Hudson. So, yeah, we all know this is that's a depressing part because that did not end well to what we wanted to. All right. So next is the armament shop. Whether you're looking for your first firearm, upgrading your setup, or need expert service, Jason at the armament shop is Copper's Cove's premier source for all things shooting. Browse our wide selection of pistols, rifles, and shotguns, backed by top-tier gunsmithing for repairs, along with reloading supplies and professional cleaning to keep your firearm in peak condition. Need a transfer? We make FFL transfers fast, easy, and affordable. Need your CHL? Jason can handle those classes both online and in person. He has over 3 decades of experience. Visit the Armament Shop today at 115A West Avenue D in Coppers Cove, or call or text 254-560-2023, or visit them at thearmamentshop.com. That's www.armamentshop.com. The Armament Shop, your safety, our priority. All right. Okay. So that's that. Now we're on the Iranian update. And before I get to the Iran update, one other thing. New Zealand actor Sam Neill died at the age of 78 after cancer recovery. The family said he died last night. New Zealand actor Sam Neill died suddenly at age 78 on Monday after he recovered from cancer. Neill was surrounded by family when he passed away. It is with immense sadness that the Wananao of, I don't know what that means, of Sam Neill shared the news. The family of Sam Neill shared the news of his family on Monday, July 13th in Sydney, Australia. His family said in a statement on his Instagram page. The loss was sudden and unexpected, but blessed at the fact that Sam remained cancer-free, which is very good. Neil passed with the dignity that was characterized his whole life. The Jurassic Park actor announced in April he was cancer-free after undergoing treatment from stage 3 blood cancer. I just had a scan just now and there's no cancer in my body. That's an extraordinary thing, Neil said at the time. I'm very, very excited that this can happen. The family said more details will be shared later, but asked that fans respect their privacy and navigate the immeasurable loss. In addition, as playing Dr. Alan Grant during Jurassic Park, Neil started the portable door, the piano, and my favorite movie, The Hunt for Red October. He was the XO for Captain Ramius. That is a huge loss. He was an excellent actor. All right. Heart goes out to his family too. And Lindsey Graham, that we'll be talking about in just a minute. First, we're going to talk about Iran, since we have to talk about Iran. The U.S. launches their third night of airstrikes in a row out of 5 nights, 3 strikes in 5 nights. There was 140 targets hit last night, 300 in the last 3 nights in a row. The RIGC says it will continue with its attacks until the U.S. ends its interference in the region. Israel set their elections for October 27th. Kuwait, Bahrain, and Qatar suffered from more Iranian attacks from drones and missiles yesterday. Per the U.S. Ambassador Mike Waltz, Lebanon, Israel, and the United States are working together to end the existence of Hezbollah. And CENTCOM says the Strait of Hormuz is open, regardless of what the Iranians say. The stock market closed Friday afternoon at 52,637.01, and it was up 149.60. West Texas Intermediate about 45 minutes ago was at $73.89 a barrel, and Brent crude oil was trading at $78.62 a barrel. All right, that's your Iran update. So coming up tomorrow, tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. is Group I Help Forum, the Coppers Cove Conservative Club. We're meeting at 6 p.m. at Giovanni's in Coppers Cove. Okay, I'll be there. Other conservatives will be there. Come on out, enjoy yourself, have a decent meal with the good Italian food from Giovanni's. And if you're a Republican, you're invited. Next is Pints in Politics, Area 254. That is on Thursday, July 16th, in Killeen, off of South Fort Hood Street, in the old Kmart shopping center, which is the shopping center that has Raising Cane's in it. And just go in there, look for Area 254, go inside, take a right, go upstairs to the upper room, and that's where they meet at 6 p.m. with Chip Howell. All right? Next is Smoking Hot Conservatives on the 20th of July. On the 20th of July at 6 p.m. in Killeen at the Leaf Affair, which is at 4110 South Clear Creek Road. It's a cigar shop. The meeting at 6 p.m. It'll be conservatives and people that smoke cigars and just relax, tell a little bit about politics, and have good that evening, okay? Next is Coryell County Republican women on the 25th of July in Coppers Cove at 1802 Martin Luther King Drive. That's Trinity Worship Center. And they're going to have Dr. Mark Fulmer at 11 a.m. speaking on geopolitical implications of the greater context of the red-green axis, which is Islamicism. All right? So come out and join Gay Lack and the group of dedicated women and some men at the Coryell County Republican Women. All right? And then I'm back. All right. And then the last one is the 28th of July. I do not have a graphic for it yet, but it's Coryell County Republican Party. Our meeting will be on the 28th of July at 6 p.m. in Gatesville at the junction of Route 36. Okay, you go all the way through town on 84, go north on 36. You go about 2.5 miles, and on the left is the junction. We're going to meet there at 6 p.m. All right? All right, so we got everything done. All right. So let me get a drink of tea. Hold on just a second here. All right, I'm refreshed. So, Senator Graham passed away Saturday evening at the age of 71 from an aortic dissection, which means his aorta coming from his heart right here tore. And my daughter was telling me this last night, and I read about it also. It's something that happens when you have cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure. It's something I got to look out for, I guess. And then it can, when the tear happens, it can happen after at a matter of minutes or days. When it happens, right? There was a 911 call from his residence in D.C. Saturday night. They got there. They couldn't get in the house because the door was locked. They called for law enforcement to breach the door. I do not know why. So here in Copper's Cove, when they have an ambulance call, they always roll an ambulance with an engine, always, right? Just in case they need support. I don't know why they did that, because I think it said it took 30 minutes for DC police to arrive. 30 minutes it's a lifetime when it comes to a cardiac event. But it happened, and he passed away at the age of 71. All right, so I'm going to read some stuff this morning. Bear with me. All right, we got plenty of time here. Dan Bongino starting at 9. We know what he's going to talk about, I think. It should be, hold on, let me see here. From inside the house. Oh, you know what? In this episode, I explained the dangerous times when one of our American political parties finds itself in how the omen of the New York is a chilling one. Okay, wow. He's going to be talking about DSA. Wow. Okay, cool. Well, we're going to talk about DSA a little bit, okay? Which they're fast. But they're having a political invention. They're rolling out a new platform this week, which involves dissolving the Constitution and the U.S. Senate and doing away with electoral, but that's a whole different thing. So the ME in the District of Columbia released preliminary findings on Sunday regarding the death of Senator Lindsey Graham. According to the ME, preliminary examination found Graham suffered from an aortic dissection due to arteriosclerotic cardiovascular disease. The ME said the death certificate remained pending until toxicological and microscopic testing are finalized. Okay. Graham's death ignites a GOP scramble for the seat. Graham's passing on Saturday evening at a time when Republicans in the upper chamber need every vote they can get. Now they have a 52 seat majority, 51 when you count that Mitch McConnell is in a hospital. All right. So Trump, during his appearance with NBC's Meet the Pressure on Sunday, said, I have somebody I would think would be great, but he doesn't want to mention it. It'll be up to the people in South Carolina to determine their next U.S. senator. Now, in correlation, Maine, you had Oyster Boy that dropped out of his Senate bid, and there's going to be a 600-member Democrat convention meet at the end of this month on the 25th. And what they're going to do is select a new person to run for the U.S. Senate, like the Democrats selected Kamala Harris, like the Democrats selected Joe Biden over Bernie Sanders and had Bernie Sanders to step aside, like in 2016 when they asked Bernie Sanders to step aside and they selected Hillary Clinton to be the nominee. Democrats seem that they don't trust voters for their politicians, But when you look on the Republican side, South Carolina is having a special primary next month on August 11th to select their next one. All right. So we have the Democrat process on the Republican side, fascist, undemocratic process on the Democrat side. Which side do you like? The Republican side or the Democrat side? I choose the Republican side. All right. Uh, let's see. McMaster says the process is guided by Constitution and state law. The first step is to require Governor Henry McMaster, a Republican, to appoint a replacement for Graham on a temporary basis because Senator Graham's term of office ends on January 3rd of 2027. He was up for re-election. That presents another issue, right? Like I was just talking about. So Governor McMaster is going to probably appoint someone today or tomorrow to fill that seat. Now, he already won his nomination because they had a primary in June. So now, or May, one of the two. Now they got to find someone to be on that ballot, right? So Henry McMaster, a close ally of Trump, can appoint a temporary replacement as soon as he wants. The pick will serve until the end of the special election or general election, right? Fox News did not immediately hear back from McMaster's office because come on, let's bury the man first, right? Graham was already in cycle for running for a fifth term. The second prong in this find a successor. The candidate filing period will open on July 21st and will close on July 28th. Okay? The people that file in that 1 week time period will compete with each other, and on August 11th, a special primary election will take place to determine who the GOP nomination will be for the November 3rd election. Now, if they don't get a 50% plus one on the ballot, the next is a runoff. The runoff will be August, 2 weeks later. Okay. So this is the details on it. All right. Senator, Governor, I keep on calling him because there was a General McMaster when I was in the Army. Governor, he was the father of the counterinsurgency for the U.S. Army. Governor Henry McMaster, a Republican, has the responsibility to appoint a replacement to serve the remainder of Graham's term, which is set in 2027 on January 3rd. Graham's seat is up for re-election this year. However, he had already won the Republican primary for the race prior to his death. Under South Carolina law, the race will now allow for a special primary election for Republican candidates. A filing window will open July 21st and will close July 28th, with a special primary election on August 11th. Another runoff election will be on August 25th, if necessary. That's if not one candidate gets 50% plus one. The winner of the primary will then face the Democrat opponent in November 3rd. There has been no announcements from Governor McMaster, and there's speculation on people that want to run for that seat. The first one up in the hopper, Nancy Mace. Nancy Mace told Fox News that she plans to explore a run for the Senate seat left vacant by the death of Senator Graham. Saying she would be an idiot not to consider the opportunity. I would be remiss if I didn't leave the door open. You only live once, Mace told Fox News. I love serving in the House. I will I will look at serving in the Senate if that's what voters want me to do. I would be an idiot not to at least look at it. Nancy Mace took her immediate focus remains honoring Graham's legacy, calling his death a complete and total shock, and saying no one is expecting it. So she has not too long. She has 8 days to figure out if she wants to run for the U.S. Senate, and she does have the money because she just ran for office. Like me, I have money left over in my campaign account. Most politicians do. All right. So we'll see if she's going to run for the Senate. I would not doubt if Nancy Mace says yes. All right. Because one thing that came out of her mouth yesterday was like, hey, how about Governor McMaster appoint him to be the senator and to fulfill the rest of the seat's time, right? And then Pam Evitt be elevated to serve as governor in his stead while we're doing the special election, right? So that bears to think like this, okay? She's clearing the field for her to run, because if she takes Evitt out of the contention, she takes McMaster out of the contention. That leaves her, and because it won't be Alan Wilson, because Alan Wilson he got the nomination for governor, so it's her and Ralph Norman, right? That's the next one, Ralph Norman. Ralph Norman seriously considering a run, and said he is going to make some type of announcement tomorrow about it. So Norman is, he's been in the 5th Congressional District since 2017. He supported Nikki Haley. That's the other person that's eligible to run, right? And I'll fast forward to her real quick. Nikki Haley says she will not seek Lindsey Graham's Senate seat. So she took herself out of the running. So now it's Nancy Mace and Ralph Norman. The problem I have with Ralph Norman, Lindsey Graham died at 71, right? Well, Ralph Norman is 73 years old and wants to run for the United States Senate, which will take him all the way till he's 79 years old, right? Nancy Mace is considerably younger, and I would think she's more conservative than he is. Why are we so steadfast in nominating old people for initial terms of office? This is unbelievable stuff. This is crazy. I mean, okay, you look at Donald Trump. Donald Trump's 80 years old, right? So you back off 10 years. So he was just turning 70 back in 2015 when he announced that he was running. He was a little bit younger, different type of politician, but this guy in his first term as a senator will be 79 when he finishes. Let's get some younger Republicans in office, because we have like the turtle, which we're going to get to in just a minute. He finally made a statement from the hospital. We keep getting these older people in office. Let's get some younger blood in there. Lindsey Graham was very young when he first got elected, okay, and he stuck around. But these guys think that the old people can stick around and just serve in elected office, in which we have good, talented bench for the Republicans, right? I think Nancy Macy's going to be the one. But if Ralph Norman wants to run, he can run. It's as right as an American. At least they're not appointing their replacements like the Democrats are around the country and in Maine. All right? Just remember Lindsey Graham, his sister, and her daughters, because that was his nieces, and he spoke really high of him. Now, if you did not know much about Lindsey Graham was a former Air Force officer, like I said earlier. He retired as a colonel. He was in the Air Force, the Air National Guard, and the U.S. Air Force Reserve. He got out. He retired at 55 because that was mandatory retirement in the federal government for military officers, right? So he served until he couldn't serve anymore. I saw a picture of him in his Air Force uniform. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. But while he was going through his college, he adopted his sister because his mom died and his dad died, and he adopted his sister when she was 13 years old, and helped raise her until she was grown. He's a conservative. I mean, I've had my disagreements with him, but you know what? He's steadfast. He held the mark. He did what he thought was right, and what I think is right, what he thinks is right, it's gonna bounce off each other. He did the job. He got elected a U.S. senator. He did what he thought was right for our country. And him and President Trump at first didn't like each other. They do now. And that, I think that was one of his best friends in the whole wide world was Lindsey Graham. Matter of fact, the funny thing is, the president asked him how good of a golfer he was, and he said Lindsey Graham can't play golf. He wasn't a good golfer. But it was the time he spent on the links with the president that mattered the most. All right? All right. So, the turtle. Don't forget about these people, okay? The turtle, he finally came forward and released a statement about his health, right? If you don't know who the turtle is Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell's been in the hospital, if you did not know. So he's been in the hospital since June 14th. And he released what all happened to him yesterday. And it was released a picture, no video, just a picture of him sitting up in the bed, looking all all really nice and neat and stuff. Alongside of him was Elaine Chao, the former labor secretary, I believe, for President Bush, right, and President Trump in the first term. So Senator Mitch McConnell on Sunday released a public statement addressing his health status after an emergency landed him in a hospital on June 14th. Mitch McConnell said in a statement that a fall led to his current hospitalization. I won't be able to return to the Senate floor to vote quite yet, he wrote. Mitch McConnell's office had disclosed limited information up to this point. Kentucky's Democrat governor, Andy Beshear, said had called on McConnell to provide a public health day, and then he did, right? She was the Secretary of Transportation, it says right here. To my fellow Kentuckians, when you elected me to a 7th term and made me our Commonwealth's longest-serving senator, you did so trusting that I would keep showing up to fight for you every day. And over the past several weeks, Elaine and I have appreciated both your well wishes and your honest questions about what was keeping me away from the Senate. You all know how folks of my generation often hesitate to share vulnerability that comes with growing older. Even in the public eye, I feel the same instinct. I can't help it. But at the same time, I've had more than my share of experiences with physical vulnerabilities. Surviving childhood polio meant spending my entire life with mobility challenges. They haven't exactly gotten easier to manage with age. And last month, I took a fall, which landed me in a hospital. My doctors have confirmed that I didn't break any bones or suffer a concussion. I didn't have a heart attack or a stroke. I don't have any tumors or hemorrhages. but I was briefly unconscious and was taken to the hospital while receiving excellent care over the past several weeks. I also had to deal with a mild case of pneumonia. I can assure you that I've been a good patient. At my age, I tend to do what the doctors tell me to do. I've submitted to every test they can think of to help figure out what caused this incident. I'm continuing to do everything they ask to speed my recovery. In fact, with signs of continued progress, I've been able to move from hospital care to a rehab center, and I'll keep regaining my strength. As much as this frustrates me, this process takes time, and on the advice of my doctors, I won't be able to return to the Senate floor to vote quite yet. But rest assured, in the meantime, I'm not taking a break from the Senate businesses that matters to you. I've been working closely with my legislative staff on current issues and with my Kentucky team who helped me provide timely constituent services across our Commonwealth. I also been keeping in touch with the Senate colleagues in the appropriations process, midterm politics, and everything in between. Uh, he doesn't say anything in there about Lindsey Graham. Um, if he can't vote, if it's going to be weeks before he can get back, he needs to actually think about resigning so the Kentucky legislature can appoint a new senator, and so we can get business done through the state of Kentucky also. All right. I understand his determination as a man to do the things and be tough about it, but sometimes you just need to step aside. All right. Uh, Meanwhile, back at the Senate is having uh, confirmation hearings this week for Labor Secretary and for the Attorney General. All right. And some other things. So the first thing is the Attorney General's office with Todd Blanche up to be confirmed as the next Attorney General of the United States. So Pam Bondi was the former Attorney General, and she stepped aside to go to another position, and then Todd Blanche was nominated to take that spot, right? And then also Labor Secretary Lori Chavez de Reamer, she resigned after allegations of misconduct, and Keith Sonderling, I think that's how you pronounce his name, is nominated to take her spot. Let me get the exact name. Hold on just a second. Yeah, Keith Sonderling is going to be the labor secretary, right? Both of them should go through no problem. There was a bunch of people that were upset with Todd Blanche because they said the Department of Justice is being legalistic and going after political adversaries. I guess they didn't look at what the Biden administration was doing, and they're just correcting the record for everyone that was doing political prosecutions and getting them out of the offices. And they got upset that we went and we wanted to clear the playing deck to make it fair for everyday Joe American. Okay, right? The other people that are up for nomination hearings this week is Jay Clayton. Jay Clayton is going to be the next Director of National Intelligence. Now, that brings one thing to mind. Jamie McDonald. I do not see anything in there about Jamie McDonald, but the speculation about Clayton's nomination going forward is that the president said he wanted McDonald confirmed as a U.S. attorney to the Southern District of New York before Jay Clayton is confirmed as the Director of National Intelligence. They're doing that is because the blue slip thing, all right? Jamie McDonald is a very conservative attorney. New York has two Democrat senators. and they will pull that blue slip out because, Senator Thune won't do away with the blue slip process. So they want McDonald confirmed first, and then Clayton to be confirmed as the DNI, right? Also, you have Erica Schwartz is nominated to be the CDC director also, and get her confirmed and to work really fast. All right, so those are the confirmations. Now, the only thing is, will the confirmations happen this week with the passing of Lindsey Graham? All right, because he is he is a senior member of the U.S. Senate. So I don't know if they're going to push that off or a funeral. What's going on? Stuff will come out today on the funeral process and stuff and about these hearings. These are important too. And you know what? They can easily do a quick confirmation hearing and then also do unanimous consent and pass them 100-0. That would be really, really cool. I would possibly have my own aortic dissection if they did a unanimous consent and passed everyone and confirmed everybody. I think the president would go also. All right. So it's Saturday. Saturday, the president made a speech, and it said, "Don't let these sick communist ideology take over America." All right. He's as adamant of anti-communist as I am. President Trump argued on Saturday in a series of social media posts that Democrat Party leaders have lost control. The radical left lunatics, often referred as Dummycrats, I might have to start using that term, has lost control of their party. They're being led by loud and unattractive people who are totally lost their way. Hopefully, they will fight back and not only let the sick communist ideology take over America. I would often say in speeches otherwise, America will never be a socialist country, and I was 100% correct. 100% correct. The Democrats skipped socialism, and it went all the way to communism. America will never be a communist party, he wrote in another post. In a separate post, Trump described the Democrat Party as a sinking ship. Like I was saying at the beginning of the podcast, Fox News needs to stop putting the DSA people on the air because it's utterly ridiculous. All right? The DSA is having a party leadership, and they're going to roll out a platform that is totally anti-democratic. Let's see. Hold on just a second. Do I still have these things on here? I can't believe I didn't delete it. Look at some of this stuff. This is what they're working for, right? Extend full voting rights to people with non-criminal records and non-citizens, and establish the statehood for Washington, D.C. Replace Electoral College with a national popular vote for president. Replace the two-party system with a multi-party democracy through proportional representation elections. Expand the number of House seats of representatives and end the Senate filibuster, and limit the power of the court of judicial review and use it effectively to create. So what they want to do is, make, I think I got myself right, expand from 435 members of the U.S. House of Representatives. Let's make it 500, right? And let's see. 15% of the nation is black, so we'll make 15% of the 15% of the candidates of the House of Representatives black to make their districts black, even though the Supreme Court says you can't. And then, let's see, we have 33% Hispanic, but then a certain portion of them are Puerto Rican, and a certain percentage of them are Cuban. So we have to have different groups like that, right? We have the non-majority white, right? And let's have a group for them, and the Italians, right? And the Native Americans, right? And everything is forming up. Oh, by the way, we're 55% female. So 55% of the congressional representation have to be women now also. That is what they're trying to force feed upon everyone. They want to do away with the United States Constitution and start over. That's insurrection. I took an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I mean, flat out, they can't do it. They can't do it at all. All right. I don't know. I went on a tangent on that one. I'm sorry. It's personal to me. Trumpalooza is going to happen in September 10th, 9th and 10th. All right. The Republican National Committee is going into the weekend, released details about the first midterm convention ahead of the November elections. A sign that President Trump's tenacious and grueling work schedule is finally rubbing off on the GOP and its leaders after years of trying to keep pace, whether they're advancing his agenda, holding events, or dominating the news cycle. Trump's pace has been notoriously relentless. For weeks after his June 30th post, the broader party apparatus appeared to be playing catch-up, planning in the background while the president kept moving. With the RNC announcing the host city of Dallas, Texas, the state parties began circulating VIP ticket packages reaching $20,000. Remember, it's a fundraiser, not a convention, all right? While some packages in California, $250,000, the party infrastructure appears to be operating at tempo Trump and has set since the formal first-term nomination in 2016 as the Republicans look to hold onto a Senate seat in Texas and keep tight control of the upper chamber. The president loves Dallas, and Texas is a perfect spot to host something that's never has happened, Joe Gruder's told NBC News app. We're excited about it. We got 3 competitive congressional districts, and we have a Senate district we're watching. Trump floated the formal then Trump floated and then formally announced the now inaugural Republican National Midterm Convention on Truth Social on June 30th, calling it a truly historic event for September 9th and 10th in Dallas at American Airlines Center, which used to be called Reunion Arena. All right, the big lollipop. And they call it Trumpalooza. All right, it's 8:49. Let's see how many more I got here. Okay, so be on the heads up if you got the money and you want to go to Dallas for Trumpalooza. Get with your party headquarters. I do believe the deadline in Texas is July 21st. If you want to secure a spot from Texas to go to Trumpalooza, I think that's what Miss Randall and RPT put out the other day. All right. And like they said, it's not a traditional convention. It's a rally. Okay. A big rally. Because we need to win no matter what. All right. Mamdani had one of his cronies attempt to meet an envoy from Iran, and the State Department shut it down. I think that's the Logan Act, so someone should have been arrested for it. A senior official in New York City's Mayor Zoran Mamdani's administration planned to meet with the Iranian ambassador to the United Nations before the State Department reportedly intervened and the meeting was canceled. Commissioner Anna Maria Archuleta, leader of the Mamdani administration's Office for International Affairs, was scheduled to meet with Iran's permanent representative to the United Nations, Amir Salid Eravani, Tuesday, the City Journal first reported. A U.S. official familiar with the matter confirmed to Fox News that the meeting had been scheduled. The reported intervention marks the second known instance in recent weeks in which the Trump administration had stepped in over the Mamdani administration's contacts with foreign leaders, highlighting a growing federal scrutiny over New York City's international outreach under the new socialist mayor. The Office for International Affairs coordinated closely with the State Department on many diplomatic matters because New York City role as the host of the United Nations. Once the State Department became aware of the planned meeting, it was called off, and the State Department met with Mamdani officials to clarify acceptable conduct. The Iranian mission declined to comment on the meeting. That meeting did not take place. It will not take place, and I did not know about it until there was a press inquiry regarding it, Mamdani said. BS. Don't buy it. Not 1 ounce. You mean one of your assistants is going to meet with the UN ambassador from another country, and you did not know about it. Red card. All right. Pressed on whether he supported such a meeting, I've said that the meeting will not be taking place. Thank you very much. The State Department told Fox News, "We appreciate the mayor's understanding of the value of diplomacy, and for this decision to cancel this meeting, it is unconscionable that a New York City official would even consider meeting with the Iranian ambassador to the UN, a man who consistently works to undermine U.S. interests and whitewash his regime's crimes against the United States, our allies, and Iran's own citizens." Trump repeatedly said he is number one on Iran's kill list. Yes, that's right. The reported Iran meeting would mark the second known instance in recent weeks in which the Trump administration intervened over the Mamdani administration's contact with foreign nationals. In June, the Washington Post reported that a planned meeting between Mamdani and Colombian President Gustavo Petro was scrapped after the State Department objections. And let's see, Archila, the official who planned to meet with the Iranian representative, served as co-director to New York's Progressive Working Families Party. Prior to her appointment as commissioner, she had no prior diplomatic experience before taking the role, and in 2022 ran for lieutenant governor of New York. Another rookie, right? And then this will probably be my final one for the day because I don't think I'm going to get very much farther. The SPLC is in deep trouble again. A new report shining a spotlight on the SPLC's influence on American colleagues, revealing educational materials are being used to train future K-12 teachers in 38 states as Congress and federal investigators intensify their efforts on the organization. According to a report from Defending Education, an education watchdog group that the SPLC once labeled as an extremist group, researchers examined 100 colleges of Education and uncovered SPLC's Learning for Justice, formerly Teaching Tolerance, and the group's social justice standards embedded into teachers' preparation programs nationwide. The report said the organization's social justice standards were incorporated into teacher preparation programs to include equity, access, and anti-bias education, teaching for social justice, critical consciousness, and social just teachers. Researchers found the materials in required education classes, teacher candidate handbooks, student teacher evaluations, lesson plans, assignments, wow, and departmental frameworks of professional development for educators. And then it's quite clear that the SPLC programming has more than a trivial impact on education. Ryan Shirley said that she's over defending education. It's stupid nonsense, right? Who's teaching our kid? Socialists or teachers? Or racist socialists? We know about this. We know about that. Okay. So, and then the divided 7th U.S. Court of Appeals upheld a ban on AR-15 style rifles in Illinois in large capacity magazines. Now, I'm bringing this up. I am pro to the nth degree. And the only reason why I'm bringing this up is that this case is going to go, well, they give them the option. It says down here they have the option of being heard by the full 7th Circuit Court of Appeals or appeal it straight to the United States Supreme Court. My guess, it was a 2-1 ruling, okay? My suggestion was appeal it straight to the Supreme Court, all right? Yeah, that would be my case. A closely watched Second Amendment decision, a divided U.S. Court of Appeals for the 7th Court has upheld Illinois ban on so-called assault rifles and large capacity mags, reversing a district court ruling that found key provisions of the law unconstitutional. A consolidated appeals from the federal firearms license Illinois versus Pittsburgh and Barnett versus Roll challenged the Protect Illinois Community Act, PICA, okay? And it was from 2023. The law prohibits the sale, with limited exceptions, of possession of certain semi-automatic firearms, including many AR-15 style rifles, as well as magazines capable of holding more than 10 rounds for long guns and more than 15 rounds for handguns. All right? So that's going to the Supreme Court. Guarantee you, I would take that to the Supreme Court. All right? So that's the JP8 report. Don't forget, stay tuned to the news. The president was on Fox and Friends this morning. I'm pretty sure he's going to be on a few other news programs. Remember, Sam Neill and Senator Lindsey Graham on their passings, especially Senator Graham. I know stuff's going to come out hot and heavy about his replacement, about the primary, about his funeral arrangements. Don't forget, if you get a chance, to lower your flags to half staff for this week through Saturday night. I'm going to do that this morning myself. Just don't forget, life is fast. Life is quick. Just don't forget, okay? All right? So it's 15-9. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to raid into Dan Bongino. I will see you all tomorrow morning. Yeah, true. They've always been disrespectful to President Trump. All right. But thanks for the question, Mr. Person on YouTube. All right. So I will see y'all later. I'll see y'all tomorrow morning, 6:30 for the JP's morning brief, 6:30 Central, and at 8 a.m. Central for the JP8 report. thank you for the person that was either on Twitter or YouTube for tuning in. I really appreciate the comment on their chat. All right. This is James Pierce with the JP8 report. I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm out.